Hi, good morning. How are you doing, guys? This is the Space Jockey Takeover. I hope you doing well. What a day we have had today. I think we've all been surprised positively because some action happened today finally. So, before we start, let me introduce us. I'm Sabi and I've got David here with me. Hi, David. How are you?
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening for everyone all around the world. Yeah, it was quite a day, and it's not finished yet. So
Mhm.
there were lots of
Yes.
happenings already in the morning, at least in Central Time.
Yes, indeed, because we have, well, Jonathan in the background empowered me with the magic invisible drawing tool. So from now on, you're gonna get me drawing a lot. Just call me Sabicasso. This is what our home community calls me. So we got two different actions. One was this little guy here. It's the detanking is on the way because ship 35 has just performed a flawless static fire. Woohoo! Well, at least we are starting from the point that actually it was not interrupted. That's already a very good sign, right? Because we had like a full duration, 1 minute sort of static fire. We've got a video of it, and hopefully we can share it with you in 1 second. So this one, if I start it, yeah, so off it goes. All the guys in the foreground, they
Enjoy.
are working busy, and it takes for them like 10, 15 seconds to notice that actually some rumbling is
Something
going.
happens.
Yeah.
No,
Is
just a
it
ship.
is it a
Who
plane?
cares?
Oh no, that's just a rocket ship that's gonna go to space. Well, never mind. So, but sooner or later, everybody obviously starts staring at it because it's six Raptor engines. Yeah, three vacuum optimized and three the sea level optimized. And this is something that's crucial for Flight 9, right?
Yes, and it's quite a good thing that SpaceX could perform a full duration static fire with Ship 35 because the previous two, let's say, attempts weren't too successful. Or yeah, let's say the very first one was successful because they ignited only one center Raptor and it seemed to be working fine. Then they continued with the six Raptor static fire last time, and it wasn't performed quite well. We have talked about it last time or last week,
Mhm.
and since then they had to actually swap this failed Raptor. It was a vacuum Raptor on the very E5 position. It's a very famous position because it seems that during the two previous flights, this position, the Raptor in this position have failed. And now in case of a ground test, it was failed again. So maybe they have found something, hopefully. And of course, we don't know whether it was intentional or not. But
Mhm.
anyway, it was swapped, and ship 35 was rolled out again on Sunday, I guess. No, on Saturday in the morning. And yesterday it was again the third attempt, and it seemed to be aborted just before the ignition. So the water deluge system has started. They activated it, but after it everything just silent. Gone silent, and actually no engine ignition was happening.
Mhm.
And but it didn't seem to be too big problem because it wasn't coming like after this abort a direct, how do you call it in English, um, depressurization. So
Mhm.
we have seen it before when it was a quite big failure or quite big problem with the ship or with the booster. The it was just following right after the abort the depressurization, but now
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't happening, so that's why I assume that it wasn't a bit too big problem, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe this shows that they could reattempt to today. And yeah, as Sabi mentioned, it seemed from outside quite flawless and a quite smooth test. It was
Mm-hmm.
about 60 seconds, and at the very end we could see the sequence of the, um, the stopping or the
Shut down.
shutdown. Yeah, better to say that. So first the three vacuum raptors were shut down, and after it the three center raptors. So of course we have to wait for the confirmation of this of SpaceX. Maybe they will show us a very nice camera angle from below, because because these footages are very nice and badass footages. And of course we have to wait for the confirmation about the flight 9 date, because it's still not very confirmed yet.
I have to say that I'm cheating because this is the previous one, not this one. So yet not yet shared any photos from SpaceX. So I kind of use this as a reference, but this
Or
is
let me
I
check, because maybe
no,
they
there isn't. I
they
just
haven't
checked.
posted yet. Okay.
No. So yeah, so that's definitely a massive step forward because we want this stuff flying. I think it's worth start talking a little bit about Zach Golden's video because that's something that we encourage all of you to watch. I think this community in general is amazing because it's full of very talented people and before I say obviously, first and foremost, you should watch What About It because every Tuesdays and Fridays, Felix is bringing you all the best information, and that's the source to go. To be honest, if you're really keen
That's
on
the basic.
educating yourself on Starship and other space matters. But the community is full of similarly talented people, and Zach Golden, I think, is one of them. And his video is really nailing and sort of going into the details of how difficult and how hard to tackle this pogo sort of vibration that's destroying keeps on destroying the ships. So um, he first of all he mentions that all of the previous rockets had more or less this kind of problem. The Atlas Mercury, the Saturn V. I think he was mentioning maybe the shuttle
Shuttle as well,
as
yes.
well, right? Yeah, and then Falcon 9. Weirdly, so it took them 10, 15, 16 flights to actually,
About that, about 15,
yeah,
16, yeah.
to tackle this problem. And he's actually speculating that probably SpaceX did not expect Pogo to happen this early. So they were expecting, they saw it coming, but they didn't see it coming this early at this stage of the development. So,
But it's quite good, isn't it? Because they can react it earlier, right? So
well, I'm not entirely sure because I don't know how much Falcon 9 was halted with the Pogo problem. Definitely, I was really worried that, but actually, as the historic examples show, it's not. How can I say? They need to tackle this, and hopefully they are tackling it now at the right way, and and hopefully that won't be such a big problem. To be
mm.
fair,
But
if they lose one or more, sorry,
yeah, to add
one or
something
two
very
more.
important that Zach mentioned, that if ship 35 fate will be totally the same like S33 and S34, then you have to be too sad, because it can totally happen again that S35 will suffer the same problem as the previous sister ships, let's say.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it can totally happen the same problem will exist, or it still exists. And in this case, this pogo effect or this vibration will come up again, and it will destroy the ship aft section, this attic section, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
And because as you all know, the S-35 was so the whole of the ship was totally finished when ship 34 was flying, so that SpaceX engineers couldn't entirely change the inner sections, so the pipelines and everything. Of course, we don't know how or what kind of changes have they made, because they should have implemented some changes and modifications inside the ship, because otherwise they would face totally the same problem, and maybe they want to skip not skip it but dodge it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. And and it's quite a long time, so quite it was quite a long time ago. It's more than 2 months since flight 8, so that's why I'm thinking that in case of the S-35, they didn't implement only software updates, but hardware updates as well. Of course, we don't
Mm-hmm.
know what kind of hardware updates were made, but they had to do something with it. So maybe they have changed, or they have modified, or they have strengthened these pipelines which fade the vacuum raptors, because this pogo effect came up with these long and very narrow tubes,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe they have made it stronger
Mm-hmm.
with stringers, or I don't know with what, because I'm not an engineer. I'm just thinking it loud. And
Mm-hmm.
and of course, on the other side, these kind of ground tests didn't give back everything, every aspects and every situations or every forces what a ship faces during a flight. And that's why they want to push the flight test and the flight date, because otherwise they can't get proper test data just with the flights. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's very important to make everything ready as soon as possible, and just send it, and then let's see what happens. Of course, this 60-second static fire will help a lot, but only with ground test data, not with flight data, because flight
Yeah.
data is more important as a ground test.
Yeah. 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 It really is difficult to replicate all these problems on the ground. And yeah, the only way to do it is to actually launch it. So,
Yeah.
and let's be frank, we said it before and we say it again. SpaceX is bringing back the old style NASA testing hardware because I think is the easiest way is the iterative
Mhm.
development. That's we can see how fast they are developing these hardware. Obviously, for us, it's not fast enough, but in an ideal world, probably they could proceed faster. But these are crucial problems to sort out, and yeah, it's a relative thing that they came out now is good or bad because now they can sort of deal with it, hopefully sort it out for good. Um, Definitely the V3, sorry, the Block 3, the third generation ships need to go through similar process, hopefully not the same, but
Mhm.
similar process, but hopefully they will be able to use that in the future. A lot of people were asking in the past, is it going back to Block 1 an option?
Mm.
But we don't see that way. We can resonate with Zach as well. There's no
Yeah.
way back.
It doesn't
It's
make any sense.
no, no, no. This current version is here to stay. Again, we mentioned that the HLS version that's part of the Artemis program, which is intended to be landing on the moon, on the south pole of the moon, that must be, or at least that is what we're reckoning, that it should be a block 2 version. It cannot be the longer V3 or block
Yeah.
3 version. It's just too long. It's too long. So this needs to work.
Yeah, and hopefully they will find a solution. Hopefully on this flight already, or if not, then maybe the S36 will be more successful. We have to wait for it. But now, what we can assume that now the S35 will be rolled back to the from the massive side to the Mega Bay 2. They will prepare it for flight, and maybe the booster 14-2, which is a pair of the S35, will rolled out already in the next couple of days to the launch site,
Hmm.
and maybe it will just put on the OLM already, and then after some days, S35 will join the party as well, and yeah, full stack. Maybe they will do a partial tanking test, and that's all. They can send it because now there aren't too much points left on this this
Checklist. Yeah.
checklist. Let's say
Hmm.
maybe they, of course, they have to load um, these demo Starlink satellites if S45 will take them. But I guess these goals will be almost totally the same as on Flight 7 on Flight 8. So these goals were previously the payload door test, so the opening, closing. Then they wanted to test the Raptor ignition first time with the Block 2 because, as we know, one Block 1 version, so it was the S32, if I'm
Hmm.
correct. It could manage Raptor ignition during flight, but none of Block 2 versions could reply it or redo it yet. And of course, it's a big question about the heat ties or the heat shield. How will it work? Because they have done some modifications and improvements on this section as well. And of course, it wouldn't be a tragical outcome if S35 will just burn during the reentry, because until that time, SpaceX could do every uh, in-space test. So again, the payload door test, the Raptor ignition, and of course, it's a a good point if they could reach finally this suborbital trajectory, what they want.
Well, first of all, if it doesn't blow up on us, and that's
Yes.
already a big step forward. What happens next, that's another story, but yeah, definitely. So you don't think that there will be a full wet dress rehearsal for the first time?
I don't think so. Maybe
Hmm.
they don't need it anymore.
Hmm.
And maybe
They
yeah,
definitely have the confidence. I mean,
yeah.
the lack of confidence is not lying there with the fact
No, no,
that
no, no,
if they
no.
have a full WDR or not.
So as
But
far
yeah.
as I know, the tank farm wasn't changed too much for
Hmm.
pad A section. Of
Hmm.
course, they improve it because it has to serve the pad B
Hmm.
um, one day, but they didn't reach it yet. So that's why I think so. And on the other hand, they save time with it if they just skip this full address rehearsal, or they just do some partial tanking test, and that's all.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, let's see.
Because yeah, mhm.
Yeah, we definitely fear for these, well, hope for, not fear. We hope for this 20th of May date. That would be awesome, to be fair. For us, I mean, we are going to Florida to broadcast the Axiom 4 mission, and we desperately want it to happen. I mean, Flight 9 before we leave Hungary, because it's just so much easier to actually stream it from the home comfort. But the worst fear is that we're gonna be sitting on the plane when it happens. So and we're gonna be diverted. No, I'm joking. We're not going that direction.
No, we shouldn't have so bad luck, so it can't happen.
Well, anything can happen. Okay, so
Of course,
wishful
yeah.
thinking is just one thing, and reality is the other. But we are hoping that this is now not gonna be sort of prolonged for too long. Is B14 to having a hot staging ring already?
Yeah, they have installed it yet. Or
Uh-huh. They
already
did, but they didn't take
two
it
weeks
off.
ago. Pardon?
They did not take it off.
No, no, it's still
Okay.
on the top of the
Okay.
bolster.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we have to see or wait until the rollout, but it should be there still.
Mm-hmm. The only reason why I'm asking is because last time around they dragged the hot staging ring separately and they were installing there at the launch pad. So which I think nobody really understood why, but it did happen. So
Mhm.
hopefully this time around, that's like a day minus because they don't need to
Yeah.
spend the yeah, because then the crane should roll there and then put it there, the hot
Mhm.
staging ring, and then the crane should roll away and lower it and blah blah blah. So
Yeah,
it just
maybe
makes everything.
maybe this flight it was cursed a bit. So there were so many strange happenings around it before the flight, during the flight, after the flight as well. So it was cursed, in my opinion. And yeah, currently I have a big confidence that they could manage to launch Flight 9 before you leave on the 26th, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Well,
So
25th, I'm not home already, so
yeah,
yeah,
so yeah, they
let's
should
see.
launch it before 25, and please, maybe it's not a big ask.
Let's hope so. Okay, the other um main character that which was in focus today was the Olem, which was
Yes.
transported to the test site, the launch site, and now it seems like it is fitted. So this is from Ryan Hansen Space. He's done some incredible renders,
Hmm.
and so this is what, a 1,200 ton
About that, 11 or
piece.
1200 tons.
I mean
So it's quite heavy. We can say
that's
it.
heavy. If I would be Doc from Back to the Future, I would say that's heavy. So yeah, that's very heavy.
Heavy metal. Yeah. Yeah,
It's
so
crazy.
you can see these measurements or these figures, and yeah, just nothing to add. It's very heavy, and they needed two big cranes to lift it to its position. And
Before we go there, I got some great stuff from Ryan. So it will load, it will be a slightly better quality, but this is an animation of how this sandwich
mhm.
is built up.
Yeah, so
So,
it's a three level,
mhm,
let's say sandwich or structure.
yeah,
It has a base, of course. Then it has the sidewalls or the main structure, and on the top of it, so as third level, it's the water deluge, or the how they call it, as it nicknames, the inverse
shower,
shower. Yeah.
shower head. Mhm.
What is actually, in case of the pad A, under the OLM. So it's quite strange because now it's on the top, and it makes much more sense. Of course, let's say it's a normal or original launch pad.
The
With
the OG launchpad.
yeah.
Yeah, and so we've got some videos of the rollout, and this is what you're gonna see here. Let me just drag it back to the beginning, and let me just slow it down a bit because this is way too fast. Right, so I mean, just these footages, these pictures. So alone, three SPMTs are required. This is a staggering piece of machinery, the SPMTs. I cannot highlight it enough. I think it's so versatile. It's so cool. I love them so much. Seriously. It's so useful for
It's the
SpaceX.
essence part.
Seriously, it was transported so many pieces and articles and key infrastructure all around Starbase. I cannot emphasize enough. Obviously, the
Mm.
size of this stuff, the launch pad itself is mega huge, and then we can see how it went through the transportation, and it got stuck at some point. So it's because of the sheer heaviness of this thing. Obviously, there was some rain there as well, but which did not help. But yeah, this is incredible footage. Yeah.
Yeah, that there was some off-road situation, but they could manage it. So,
Yep.
and again, the very positive side of these SPMT is that every axis can work separate from each other. So that's
Yep.
why they didn't stack it into the mud or yeah mud,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but they can manage it to continue the rolling. And yeah, it was just before the so already at the launch site, so or next to the launch site when they had to make a right turn.
Yeah.
And yeah, at that situation, the road was a bit too narrow, and they had to just gone a bit off road. And yeah, it was quite funny to see, that's better to say interesting to see, because of course we have never seen uh, quite a thing before. So
Mm-hmm.
and we won't see it too frequently as well.
Yep.
So yeah, it was quite nice to see that how they could manage to roll three SPMTs in parallel or just simultaneously,
Mm-hmm.
because of course that was the first time they used three SPMTs for a rollout.
Yeah. So it arrived, it was moved very near to well, look at those machinery. It's
Hmm.
incredible. This is, I
Just
mean,
lift a bit
look at
and you can go.
yeah, yeah. How he kept the OLM itself horizontal. Look at those wheels there. I mean,
Hmm.
unbelievable,
Masterpiece, yeah.
unbelievable. Yeah, I think the video is a little bit choppy. We try to work on it, but yeah, I think it still gives back the feeling that how incredible this stuff it is. So yeah, it's crazy. So it was transported very near to the actual OLM, and and then yeah, it everything else started. All this progress. Sorry, I will show you some photos because we got some of those. So this is the position we've been expecting it to end up, and
Hmm.
and yeah, today the lifting happened
Yeah,
with
now
two
can come
cranes.
our famous topic, the welding again,
Yeah.
because they have to weld the legs and of course this structure together to make it strong enough.
Hmm.
And yeah, then they can continue the installation of the other parts and pipelines and etc. So that was the main part, the installation of this OLM. That the main structure should be in the position, and now they can continue with the smaller stuff.
Hmm. Yeah.
And of course, yeah, it was very important to wait for good weather conditions because, yeah, however, it's quite heavy. As we mentioned, it's about 11 or 1200 tons. Uh, so the wind matters quite much,
Hmm.
and they have to wait. They had to wait for smaller wind speeds, and yeah, today was the day when the conditions were met, and yeah, they could manage the lifting.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Indeed.
and it was quite hard for the crane uh, driver, or I don't know how to
Operate
call them,
operator.
operator. Yeah, thank you. So they have to make everything in very simultaneously. So everything very totally in the same manner, same time, and everything in totally the same. Because if one of the operator just just a little bit, then everything could go wrong. But of course, they are yeah, they are professional and they have done their job quite well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think we are going to have a video regarding to the lifting, which just give me 1 second because it's just been done recently, because it just happened not too long ago. So we've been working on it. Well, Jonathan was working on it, to actually create it for you. But it's gonna be on the What About It channel for sure. Let me find out. Um, anyway, I'm working on it. Yeah, I think here it
Hmm.
is. Yeah, there we go. So this is the lifting of the big part.
Hmm.
Yep.
And just for some not too important details, one of the crane is actually the SpaceX crane. Just it was modified a bit, so it got this yellow boom, and the entirely yellow crane is rented. So they just need it for this lifting, but of course there are not so big structures to rent it in the future. So the other liftings can be managed with the own crane. So yeah, thank you for the drawing again.
I'm
So
trying to use it for a good purpose.
so yeah, these two cranes were played this main role this morning, and great success because now
Great
the
success.
OLMB is in its position. So
Hmm.
it was quite nice to see how smooth it was made, or it
Yep.
was performed.
I think the reason why we are cheering for this so bad is because actually this is a big thing. This is a huge thing, and not just in terms of size and and
Literally, it's a
volume.
big thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But any oh, look at this guy up there. I just noticed. Oh, it just disappeared. Anyway, so yeah, so it's not just because of that, but if you think about it, well, this is going to be the first pad that is not going to only be um, doing its job, but it's gonna start supporting the fast and rapid turnaround. So hopefully, we were speculating how what kind of mechanism or what kind of um, solution they're gonna come up with for swapping these bits that's just being fitted on the video, because the idea is they remove one and they put another one on. um, I guess that's not gonna be like a super duper quick stuff. It cannot happen like in a day or two. I doubt. But even if it happens in a week time, you can at the beginning you can speed up the process so much in
Yeah, of
terms
course,
of
because
launches.
in case of Payday, they can't remove it either at all. So at least it's a big improvement that theoretically they could remove this OLMB one day if it's needed. But of course, it was designed or yeah designed in that manner that it should withstand a lot of launch. So
Hmm. Hmm.
not one, not two, but I don't know,
Many,
tens or
many. That's the word
many.
you're
Yeah,
looking for.
yeah,
Yeah. So it's hopefully we're gonna see in the future some of these roles in and out and swappings and yeah. I'm really I don't know. I'm looking forward to this period in SpaceX because hopefully this is going to be the point when we look back and saying, okay, now that was the point when yeah, okay, Paddy done its job. It was supporting some of the launches, but it proved the point that it's not really up for the job. They
mm,
need something more durable, more up for the job, something more flexible, more mobile. Maybe that's an important word. Because otherwise, I don't know how can one single launch pad survive weekly launches. I don't think.
With these forces to add.
Yeah, I mean, but these forces are not gonna go away. It's gonna grow, not lessen, because
Yeah.
instead of 33, they're gonna have 35 engines. So the beating is gonna just increase, not decrease. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah,
I
so
like
it's
it.
I think it's a good day for SpaceX, and maybe they will find the way back to make it happen. At least what at least of course not the not every goal what they have uh, expected to this year, but maybe the part of the goals, because yeah, we know it's almost half of the year is gone already,
Mhm.
and they couldn't work, or they couldn't progress everything as they wanted before, so last year, end of last year. But maybe with these progresses they can find a way back.
Indeed. Absolutely. Yeah,
And some
probably.
background informations about Starbase.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It became a city. official
Absolutely.
official a city, so
Yes.
it's not
The
anymore
people.
Boca Chica village. It's Starbase City already. So there was a voting at the weekend, I guess. So there are some workers that they have the right to vote, and with 97%, more than 97, almost 98%, they have
Yes.
voted for yes. So they wanted to be a city, and yeah, of course, it means some. Um, Logistic opportunities, some legal stuff, of course, and yeah, it's good because now they can manage all of the road closures, for example, because so far it was done by the sheriff, so the
From Brownsville.
Brownsville
Hmm.
and the county sheriff office, and now it will be handed over to the Starbase guys, actually. So everything will be much smoother than previously. Of course, there wasn't any problem with the rollouts or with the road closures. So the sheriff was giving the right or the possibility or the time. Of course, it wasn't a big debate on that, but now they can do it by themselves, so it's much easier for them.
Hmm.
um, and yeah, there is a major of course, or mayor, sorry, not major but mayor. And yeah, we will see what kind of changes will be made in the, that Starbase is a city already. So it's not a old old happening. It's not just some days before. So yeah, quite bright future for Starbase City, and good luck for them.
Indeed. Yep. Um, yep. In the chat, hi Justini. He's asking, will it actually have 35 engines, the booster? I've read that as well, but also I'm reading they are sticking to 33 on block 3.
um,
Do you know anything about it?
to be honest, I haven't read some of this kind of information.
Hmm.
Of course, it can be that they yeah, they don't change it, or they don't want to go up to 35. It's on the Raptor 3 engine, how they can maybe improve the thrust, and how can maybe they reduce some of the weight, not only the engine but the entire Starship rocket. So maybe they will change their mind and stay by 33 engines, or they will just introduce not only one but more booster versions or blocks. So maybe not the block 3 will be the last one, but maybe it will be a block 4 or maybe block 5, as in case of Falcon 9. So who knows? And maybe that's the same case by the ship. So maybe not the block 3 version will be the last one, but maybe they will make more changes with more blocks or more versions.
Mm-hmm.
So because yeah, it's I think I think so some quite long time ago that this kind of improvements, especially in case of the size. So now the Block 2 versions ships are about 52 meters. And as per the plans, what Elon mentioned last February, the Block 3 version would be about 70 meters. So it's 18 meters taller. And maybe it's too much improvement or change for one step. And maybe they will implement one more, let's say, intersection or um,
Interstage
interstage or not.
or
So
phase.
interface, yeah, better to say. So maybe there will be more blocks or more versions of the ships as well, but that's only theory from myself. So we will see how the Starship program will run. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna take a look at Charles Frawley. I hope I said your name well. He's asking, do we know an approximate height difference between OLMA and compared to OLMB? Um, I think the fact is that I mean it's gonna be lower for sure,
Yeah,
OLMB,
lower. Mhm.
because they don't have the legs.
And there is a flame trench below it, so
Mm-hmm.
it helps a lot.
Yeah. No, but I mean that with the height. That's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
question.
But if
Mhm.
you add the flame trench height plus the OLM height, then it makes much bigger size as pad A, but only the upper
No, but
side, let's say.
I'm in sea level or
Yeah,
ground
I guess
level. I
it's
would
it's
ground
lower.
level. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lower than so the OLMA is about 18 meters, if I'm correct. So it's
Hmm.
lower than it.
Hmm. Hmm. Do we know how tall the launch pad on pad B, the section that has been fitted today?
Oh,
3 meters,
good question.
four
I
meters,
don't know
five.
the
Hmm.
dimensions now, but I will
Hmm.
look into the details
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
for the next show.
If you ask my opinion, I think it's definitely lower than pad B is lower
It
than
seems
pad A.
it seems it seems to be lower. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, Ekij is saying should be able to estimate it based on the tower section. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, somebody needs to count it at some point. Yeah. Yeah. So what else? I think how was the saying? Um, tear down this wall, Mr. Gorbachev. I
Yeah.
think implemented the Starbase, tear down that side wall on Star Factory,
Yeah. Poor Star Factory. Yeah.
something like that.
It was just
So
built and now it's one part is demolished already.
yeah,
But that's how the life goes by SpaceX. So
so basically everything is gone now that's related to Star Factory and should not be there, right? So that's the only thing that go next to it now is the Gigabay.
yeah, so this edge part wasn't it hadn't a long
No.
life, so it was a it was a temporary solution.
This is
And
one way of keeping the people busy in Starbase.
yeah, so we have
Build it
we
and tear it down.
yeah, it's like that, just like that. So it's like the balance of the universe. You have to build and you have to demolish something to be in balance. But yeah, so actually the Star Factory and the future Gigabay will be joined or sticked or matched together, and that's why this edge part
Connect,
had to gone
connected. Yeah,
connected.
connected.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so you can see already this big door um, in the middle section of this new wall, let's say. So yeah, now when they have they if they yes, or when they finish with the demolition of the high bay, they can start the construction of this giga bay, which will be a bit smaller than the giga bay in Florida, because they have limits here at Starbase in terms of the base,
Mm-hmm.
but it will be quite a big building still. So of course we have to wait until the ground parts,
Work.
or the groundworks, how they will just figure out the baselines and everything, and then we can talk about the an entire size of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And also one more thing I wanted to drag into this show fine as a final stuff, the test tank 17. I
Right.
think that's a great video taken from Starship Gazer.
Hmm.
He took this amazing shot, close-up shots. So this is a test tank, as the name suggests. And for me, the most interesting part is the bottom. I don't know why. I like shiny stuff. But just really in just a couple of sentences, then what is it made of? Made for, sorry.
Yeah, it is meant to test the new Block 3 version booster um, LOX tank. So not the main tank, but the header tank, or yeah, header tank, because it's quite a big structure. It's as big as some orbital rockets. So inside this test tank is this quite huge LOX tank, and these strange parts which are coming out from the hull. These are actually the
Those holes, right?
hole. Yeah, these holes are meant to be the make it stronger, or make it much more robust, because they don't want to just pop it out, and they don't want to
Mm-hmm.
blow it up if it's possible. and, and it's a quite strange structure, but it's needed to be to make the test much more safe. And it will of course around this test tank will be a cage. So better to say this test tank will be just put in a cage, which was improved for these tests. And but as far as I know, it wasn't put it yet, or put inside this crane, not crane but cage. So yeah, we have to wait how kind of tests will be made with this one, and maybe it won't be uh, uh, too exciting, or or yeah, too visible.
Yep.
But hopefully we will get some details about it later.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
first,
Mm-hmm.
the priority was on the ship 35 static fire test. But still, since it was done today, some hours ago, then maybe they can focus now on test and 17, and we will wait for its test.
Mm-hmm. Right. And finally, the launch site had a roundabout now, has a roundabout, and maybe cars can turn around easier. Not a big thing, but it's a thing. So,
The
yeah.
tankers, better to say, because there are still lots of tankers, and they need much more uh, much more space. And now with this roundabout, they can do the
Really? The
yeah,
tankers?
yeah. So with a car, you can just turn back quite easily, but with a tanker, it's a
Hmm.
much bigger deal. So yeah,
The
it's
reason why I'm wondering is because the tankers usually they sort of reverse back, they go into the sides, I guess, or they still fill it up from the road. So they just reverse back and then they just go. That's why I assumed, but
Mm.
probably it's for the concrete trucks and whatever. Who knows? It's there for everyone to use.
Yeah, that's for
Buses,
sure.
trucks, airplanes. No, okay, not them. Okay. Um,
Hopefully one day we can
we can
just
turn
try
around
it
here.
try it out. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me take a look at the if there is any comments. Nah, guys, don't say anything like that. We love no. Look, we love the Felix shows. I think he is doing it very well. I can tell you from my own experience that doing a YouTube channel is super tough, and you need to use certain things to keep the interest up. Otherwise, you better just stop doing it. So, no, we love it, and I think a lot of people should do a similarly good job. And yeah, everybody, we encourage everybody to watch the What About It channel because I think that's the best source, and he's doing good investigation. And yeah, definitely, this is our number one source to go for when it comes to Starship as well. So yeah. Um, is there any questions in the
Mm,
chat? I
I
don't think
can't
there's any.
see any.
Mhm. Right. Okay. We are going to try to come back next Monday, and also we're gonna keep an eye on how these two stages, the first and second stage, so the booster 14.2 and the ship 35 is doing. Hopefully, we're gonna see some rollouts. The booster gonna end up soon, at least on the launch site, and probably they're gonna do the checkup with ship 35, I guess. And then
Mhm.
after that, it should join at some point the launch site as well. So let's hope for the best, and we're really aiming for this 20th, which means next Tuesday.
Tuesday, right? Or yeah, if it's 21st, then it's still okay for us.
Yep, indeed, indeed. If you heard some drilling, sometimes there is a flat behind me, well, next to me, and they are doing some digging or some, I don't know, drilling rather. Sorry for that. Yeah, yeah. So, thank you very much for being here with us, and hopefully we see you next week. Tell us what you think in the comment. Just smash the like button, subscribe to this channel as well. Even if you don't follow, do so with the What About It channel. And let's not forget the view you are seeing right now. This is a 24/7 stream, so you can take a look at any time what's going on at Starbase. There are a couple of cameras installed. I think, yeah, this is the way to go. Yeah. Thanks for being with us, and we see you next week, hopefully.
I think so. Yeah.
Hopefully just about a day away from flight time.
Yeah, it will be quite interesting to see how next week gonna look like.
Yeah. Okay. Have a lovely week. Enjoy it and stay tuned. Tuesdays, Fridays. What about it? Episodes. Otherwise, we see you next week. Take care. Have a lovely week. See you guys.
Bye bye. See you next time.